Hi and welcome. Welcome to the Destined for More online show. So happy that you're here with us today. And you are in the right spot if you are really that woman that wants to really get more out of life and in a way that really elevates your overall sense of well-being and prosperity. And so, welcome to the online show. My name is Wesley Reese. If you're new to me, I'm a success coach, healer, and spiritual mentor for midlife women in business. So, in each episode, I love to bring you a guest expert so that they can share their genius with you so that you can feel empowered and, again, that overall sense of well being and prosperity, both in your life and your business. And today, I'm thrilled to have Ashley Holmes here with us. A little bit of introduction for Ashley is that she is the CEO and founder of Holistic Fertility Coach Incorporated. She helps women that are struggling with infertility, struggling to conceive with ease, and she has created a holistic practice so that you can really bring back to your mind, body, spirit, bring that back into balance and into alignment so that you can create that fertile ground within. So that she also wants you to know that you don't have to navigate your fertility journey alone. And she is just full of love and compassion. And I'm so excited to bring her to you today. What we're talking about is a holistic approach to fertility. It truly is that mind, body, spirit connection. So, welcome, Ashley. Happy to have you here.
Thank you for the intro, Wesley. I'm excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, let's start out to get going. I would just really love for you to share a little bit more about yourself and what got you to where you are today.
Sure. Really, my path chose me, I feel, and my own struggles with fertility is what led me to birth my business because I say I did it the hard way and the easy way, and I would forever choose the easy way and the way that felt good for me. And all of the practices that I give to clients are things that I use and do myself. So, because I have seen the power and the change and the transformation that comes from it and the healing that comes from it as well.
Nice. Um, you know, can you share a little bit about your story uh, that helped you find those pathways and find those practices and solutions that you help people with today?
Really, what happened was I landed on my yoga mat, and one karma class really led to me taking yoga teacher trainings and to me sinking into meditations and realizing what was in my subconscious mind and realizing that I could rewire these pathways in my mind and that I could choose my thoughts and my thoughts didn't need to choose me and that I could create the life that I wanted and that I had all of that within me. I just had to tune in and tap into it.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Um, what are some key principles or what are some key components that you would say matter with that holistic approach versus like what someone may find with traditional medical approaches when it comes to fertility.
I think, and my program is based upon empowering women. So tuning in and noticing what they feel, and where they feel it and why they feel it and what they can use in the moment to help them process whatever it is that they are experiencing, whether that is grief from a miscarriage or whether that is anger or frustration, whatever it is that they are experiencing, instead of storing it and holding it within our body, we need to acknowledge it and process it so that it's not blocking us from receiving. And this is really what I feel like medical intervention is missing, is they're just looking at the physical body and they're not looking at anything else beyond that. And it's a holistic approach, and that it's mind, body, and spirit, because you are all of those things. And so all of those things need to be embodied and all of those things need to be embraced.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really eye-opening. I know for me, as I was on this journey of self-discovery, um, understanding how important it is to recognize that connection and when we're out of alignment, but to really understand like those emotional things that we've held on to that are blocking that and how they can show up. um and you know, I would love for you to share a story and or example of um you know, because it can look so many different ways, but just that the impact of what stuck emotion can do to you overall. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Really stuck and blocked emotions really are what lodges into the tissues, into the body, which is what eventually becomes disease, because the body isn't in ease. So that is why it is so important to not bury our feelings and to know our conditioning and our limiting beliefs, and to look at these things, because these are often the things that are blocking us and that we are bumping up against. And because we're not looking at them, we repeatedly keep facing them and struggling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so true. I mean, and I don't know when I learned this, but at some point I learned that, 90% of diseases are actually caused from unresolved emotions. Have you heard that one? It,
it
it's,
it it all really is, it's starting in the mind and it's transferring and it's landing in the body with what perhaps, and it could be things that you think are insignificant, yet you have an emotional charge within your body that you have held on to for years or decades, and it's impacting you now day in and day out in a way that you don't even realize consciously. And
yeah.
so it's bringing that awareness to it. And so then once you see it, it can't be unseen. And then you can work with it and you can move it and you can rewire it and you can make those shifts and changes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the awareness alone is such a gift because, like you said, you can't unknow it now.
No, there's no going back, and there's no way of sort of living that way anymore. And it's really just such a blessing waiting for you to discover it and be like, oh, that makes so much sense now. But until you sort of have that moment, and sometimes that moment comes at the deepest, darkest, place in our lives. And it's at that moment, like the dark night of the soul, or those times when you sort of have a spiritual awakening, or that you really make those big shifts and changes because you can't continue in this way any longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What kind of, I'd like you for you to share some of the practices that you've found that really help with this holistic approach to that mind body spirit connection.
So things that I really love to do myself and things that I love to give clients is yoga nidra, because it is working on all layers, the koshas of all layers of your being. We have 5 of them, and often the medical world is just addressing the physical. So it really is a way to work on all the layers of your being and to get to your true self and connect with your true self. And I love yin yoga because it's similar to going to acupuncture for fertility, but it's non-invasive. You can do this from the comfort of your own home, and you're affecting the meridian lines within your body in the same way. So there are many ways to do things, but I have and give people ways that I love and that have worked for me and that feel good in my body, that, you know, I don't have to go somewhere. I don't have to, be sitting in a clinic. I don't have to be sitting here waiting in anticipation of what's going to happen. And perhaps I don't like needles. And for anyone who's done IVF, you might not love needles and may not want more of that. So it's really just working with your body and doing meditations and chakra balancing and working with your energetic body so that you feel your best and you feel how you are meant to feel, which oftentimes this is really taking a toll on you and your energy and depleting you and draining you. And this is a way to reinvigorate and revitalize and come back to feeling the way that you truly are meant to feel, because our periods aren't meant to be painful and excruciating, and all of these things are signs and symptoms and signals that we are out of balance.
And I would love for you to elaborate on that, like the signs and signals that we can tune into to let us know that we're out of balance.
We can know when we pay attention. We actually listen to these messages that we are being given all the time. But sometimes they get really, really strong before we stop and we pay attention and we change direction. And so at any sort of signal that your body is giving you, that is a time to pay attention. Whether it is an upset stomach that is showing you anxiety and stress and symptoms like that, that is your body, not functioning optimally, because then your digestion is affected and then you're not taking in the nutrition that you need to be taking in to nourish yourself properly, because it's either stuck or it's being released too quickly. So there's just all sorts of ways to tune in and to notice and to pay attention to things that we often don't pay attention to because they're automatic. And we just think, well, yes, I'm breathing. But how are you breathing? Are you breathing shallowly because you're stressed and you're anxious and this is really affecting your well being? Are you able to calm your thoughts and take deep conscious breaths and be aware of sensations in your body and what is going on with your body and how you are feeling as you move through your fertility journey?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's so powerful because you know what? Um, and a lot of times it doesn't have to be like this blaring thing unless you ignore it for so long. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, look at me. Um, but I think we're really wired as a society to um, think that suffering is normal. Like,
Hmm.
um, it's almost like, for example, um, if you really identify with being an anxious person and you think
Yes.
that's just who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
so you accept, well, that's who I am. I'm just naturally an anxious person. And how you're accepting that suffering for yourself, and over time, what it's actually doing to to your overall well-being, like you said. It's that just common acceptance of what I like to call like low grade anxiety or low grade suffering, that you're just dealing with it because it's not like a huge issue, but how it really affects so many things. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And it is anything that shows up is a signal that it wants you to pay attention to it. But oftentimes, what we do is we ignore it or we suppress it. And then it just keeps showing up, and it can, in fact, become even more severe. And those symptoms can become even more difficult to face on a day to day basis. And often, what happens with fertility is you are just compounding this stress, it's going to be next cycle, it's going to be next cycle, it's going to be next cycle. And there's no break, there's no slowing down, there's no introspection, there's no sort of what can I do to help myself in this process, because we're always sort of living in the future. And that is sort of living anxiously, is not being present and not being mindful and not being in the moment. And so that really can affect you and how your journey plays out for you. So we really do have more control than we think we do. And we just have to harness that control and that energy and really stop giving and expecting things to come externally to fix us. We're not broken. And really to take our happiness and our healing into our own hands.
Oh, I love that. And so true because, you know, how many times in our society is like the quick fix, the what we're after, when it's not the real solution. It's like a band-aid,
Mhm.
and you're looking, like you said, outside of yourself for that thing that's going to help you. And when really that power and that ability to heal yourself in many ways comes from within you, and that power of your spirit. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. What advice would you have for those that may be struggling with infertility, or even just struggling with that mind body spirit connection? What advice would you have for those that are on that journey, that want better, but they're not really sure where to start?
I would say to do something for your mind, body, and spirit every single day, to make that you deserve that, you're worthy of that, and to create that time and space for yourself, because what we really need more of in this world is less doing and more being and more mindfulness, because we live a very yang lifestyle. So we really do, especially if you're struggling with infertility, you really do need to incorporate more of those yin aspects and those yin qualities in your life, because taking a really masculine approach or a more medical approach to your fertility is maybe not what you need to help you during this process. You are masculine and you have feminine qualities, but if you're only leaning into one aspect of that, then you're missing out on the other piece of you. And a holistic approach is a whole approach. It's all of you and it's both dynamics of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So is yin the more feminine side and yang the more masculine side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just
Yes.
gathering that because I don't use that terminology, and so I just wanted to clarify that. So, um, you know, um, is there a story that you would like to share of maybe a client experience? Because I know you work one on one, so you really customize your client's journey for meeting their needs. And so, do you have like a story? It could be from yourself or one from your client that you'd like to share. Just kind of the process that you took them through um, for that.
One of the things a client said to me yesterday was, everybody should have this information, like this is so helpful for me. Why isn't this common knowledge? And I wish it was, and I would love to help everyone, but my heart really is with those women who are struggling with infertility. And another remark was that I didn't realize how disconnected I was, and I didn't realize like this wasn't what I needed to feel connected. And oftentimes we don't realize what that missing piece is or why we feel this disconnection. And full disclosure, she was skeptical coming in, like didn't know how this was going to work for her, how this was going to benefit her, and feels so empowered from it, and energetically better, sleeps better, less bloated, like all of these signs and symptoms. Because often when you're showing up with infertility, you're not just showing up with infertility. There are other things going on in the background as well. And so looking at and helping all of these things and all of these issues that are arising, and seeing the changes and seeing the reduced stress and nourishing yourself in the way and using Ayurveda for your specific constitution that actually is nourishing for you. Because what is healthy for someone else is not necessarily healthy for you. And, you know, that was a piece that she felt was, I wish I would have known this years ago. Why isn't this taught? Why isn't this prevalent in society?
Oh, it's powerful. And just to know that, like, I truly believe that we're here to support each other with our gifts. And this was something that you experienced in a gift that you have to give to others now, so that they can really get back to this place um, of of balance, of true connection, in which obviously, it's like you said, it's not just infertility, it's like the overall well-being. And so there's so many benefits in the way that it ripples out into other areas, mind, body, spirit. So I always love to, before I we share, how people can get a hold of you and find you. um, I would love for you to share, if you had one message to share with the world and you could shout it from the mountaintops for everyone to hear, what would that message be, Ashley?
I think I said it earlier, but I really feel like my message would be that you can take your happiness and your healing into your own hands at any time. It is completely up to you. And it's for you to embody and embrace all aspects of yourself. And sometimes that means looking at our shadow side and those pieces and parts of ourselves that we have discomfort around, but knowing that those are all part of you and all of it is welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. So thank you for sharing that. And um, if this resonates to you and you're watching and listening to this conversation, we want you to know that there's guidance and support for you. And so, Ashley, where can they find you, and so that they can make that connection and take that next step, even if it's just for a conversation?
I have a Holistic Fertility Coach Facebook group that you are welcome to join wherever you are in your journey. I've had Wesley come in as an expert with theta healing. I love to have others come in that have modalities that aren't my area of expertise, to just create a healing sacred space and for you to take what serves you and to move into anything further when you're ready, because until you're ready and you want to take those steps, there's no forcing, there's no pushing, there's no coercing. You want to do this for you and for your health and well-being. And I have yoga classes and meditations and coaching available on Vibely, which is a health and wellness platform, as well as if you're in the season of loss or struggling with infertility, there is a event coming out May 6th to 8th called The Joy of Sunflowers, and it is supporting women with infertility and pregnancy loss. So that is an event. There are 70 speakers. I am one of them, and you're welcome to be in a community and in a space where people are going through and experiencing the same things as you are.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And we'll put the links in the description so you can get a hold of Ashley. You can check out her Facebook group as well as this event coming in May if it resonates with you. So thank you again, Ashley, for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you on the next episode. So take care, everybody.
Thank you, Wesley.
You're welcome.